It is always a moment of joy for me when Trump bootlickers get dismantled, especially when done on live TV. And today we have something rather special, don't we? Right, so, tariffs. Can we talk about tariffs for a moment? Because this isn't just some dry economic policy debate. No. This is about something far more insidious. This is about a fundamental ideology that has been pushed relentlessly by Trump and his loyalists. The idea that slapping taxes on imports somehow makes America stronger. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. And look, I've been watching this unfold for years now, and what absolutely gets me, is how the same people who scream about free markets and small government suddenly become cheerleaders for government intervention when their guy does it. The hypocrisy, it's almost impressive at this point. But here's where it gets genuinely concerning. This isn't just about economics anymore. When you start hearing people on major news networks praising authoritarian efficiency, when you hear commentators essentially suggesting that maybe dictatorships have the right idea about getting things done, that's when you need to sit up and pay attention. That's when alarm bells should be ringing. So today we're going to watch Jessica Tarlov, political strategist, sharp as a tack, go head-to-head with Jesse Watters. Now Watters, where do I even begin with Watters? The man who predicted his own party would lose the House, by the way. That's quite something, isn't it? Even he can see the writing on the wall. What we're about to witness is a masterclass in dismantling talking points, in exposing the absolute emptiness behind the rhetoric. And I want you watching alongside me as this unfolds, because this matters. This conversation about tariffs, about authoritarian efficiency, about what kind of country America actually wants to be. It matters enormously. If you love watching me unravel disasters like this, please click that subscribe button. That was something, wasn't it? Did you catch that bit about dictatorial efficiency? Because I caught it. I caught it and I can't unhear it. Look, Jesse Watters, this is a man who's been at Fox since 2003, started doing ambush interviews for Bill O'Reilly, built his entire career on gotcha moments and smug condescension. And now he's sitting there, reportedly making millions, telling everyday Americans that tariffs are fine, actually, while those same Americans are paying an extra $1,000 a year out of pocket. But here's what Jessica absolutely nailed. She pointed out the fundamental flaw. You cannot argue something is an emergency when you apply it to everyone. That's not an emergency. That's ideology dressed up as policy. And Watters knows this. The man predicted his own party would lose the House in 2026. He knows the political cost of what's happening. And did you catch how quickly that they tried to pivot to Biden inflation? Classic deflection. A global pandemic versus deliberate policy choices are not the same thing. One happened to everyone. The other was a choice. Your choice. What really gets me, is Gorsuch's concurrence that Jessica mentioned. A conservative Supreme Court justice essentially saying, we have a constitution, and you don't get to bypass Congress. When even your own judicial appointments are pumping the brakes, maybe, just maybe, you've gone too far. 1.4% GDP growth, below the lowest expectation, has just compared constitutional process to using a rake instead of a leaf blower. I'm sorry, did he just reduce the separation of powers to garden equipment? The audacity, the sheer... No, actually, I need to sit with that for a moment. This man who's been handed Tucker Carlson's primetime slot, who's been elevated to the 8 o'clock hour, is now openly arguing that presidents should have a free hand because dictators move faster. He literally said, Xi Jinping has a sword and a shield. And his solution is, we should be more like that. We should envy authoritarian efficiency. And here's what Jessica understood immediately. She caught him. He's a dictator. 3 words. Clean. Devastating. Because that's the quiet part, isn't it? The logical endpoint of we need speed is we don't need democracy. What Watters conveniently forgot to mention is that those 100,000 manufacturing jobs he's claiming. Construction jobs aren't manufacturing jobs. Building a factory isn't the same as running one. And Jessica wasn't having it. She called the bluff in real time. But the constitutional argument is what should terrify everyone watching. The Supreme Court, including Trump's own appointees, said you cannot bypass investigative processes. That's not bureaucratic inconvenience. That's checks and balances. That's the entire architecture of American governance. Yet here's Watters, reportedly predicting his own party loses the House, still cheerleading policies that even conservative justices won't defend. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. Wait, he mentioned Greenland. We're crediting tariffs for Greenland now. Right, next segment's going to be something, I can feel it.
I mean, it's great that...
There it is. He's our a-hole. That's the defense. That's the constitutional argument from Fox News primetime. Not this policy works, not here's the evidence, just tribalism dressed up as patriotism. Look, I've watched this entire exchange, and what strikes me most isn't the policy disagreement, it's the moral framework. Watters just admitted, on air, that the ends justify the means. We're going to get it whether you like it or not. That's not governance. That's not democracy. That's the language of imposition. And the projection. My word, the projection. Unwell leftists trying to kill Republicans while conveniently forgetting January 6th happened, while conveniently forgetting which side actually stormed the Capitol. But here's what Jessica Tarlov understood throughout this entire debate, and why Fox reportedly replaced her last month. She kept bringing it back to the Constitution, to process, to the actual architecture of American democracy, and that's apparently too inconvenient for the network's current direction. Waters himself predicted his party loses the House in 2026. Think about that. He's cheerleading policies he seemingly knows will backfire electorally. The question isn't whether Trumpism survives, it's how much institutional damage gets done while it burns itself out. So here's my ask. Next time someone tells you tariffs are just a tool, ask them who's paying. Ask them whose grocery bill went up. Ask them why efficiency matters more than accountability. Drop your thoughts below. Are we watching conservatism or something else entirely? Because I genuinely don't recognize this anymore.